I can tell, Dad. I was going to ask you something, Dad. How did you survive Auschwitz?
Well, I did all kind of dirty work in Auschwitz. One of my dirty work was they handed me a shovel and I had to fill up pits that was dead bodies laying there to cover the pits up. And this was just one of my jobs.
Remember what you said about the Nazis wanting the Red Cross to think that they were treating everybody nice and you were a good soccer player?
Well, one day they called out a roll call and they announced on a loudspeaker all soccer players to step forward. I asked God, what should I do now? I was in high school a very good soccer player, and God gave me a message, go ahead and step forward. Now, thousands of us stepped forward, and just so happened that they said, I showed them that I can do certain things in playing soccer, and I was selected to be one of the soccer players.
So you ended up playing soccer with the SS.
We were playing soccer again with the SS, and the Allied planes were flying over. They took picture of us, and they showed the world that Auschwitz is an enormous place. Look, people are playing soccer, but that was not true. The soccer was strictly a ploy to show the world, yes, that we are normal life here. Then one day my friend who was he was what you call a busboy in the SS barrack. He overheard the SS men talking that in a few days they're gonna kill the soccer players, and he said, now you try to get out of playing soccer because they're gonna kill you in a few days. However, he said he also overheard that from North Germany they're gonna come and looking for mechanics, and you tell them that you are a mechanic. What kind of mechanic was I? I knew how to fix my bike. That's about all. And I stepped out playing soccer, and I was selected to be one of the mechanics.
And that's when they transferred
to Buchenwald.
To Buchenwald.
And Buchenwald, we picked up an additional maybe 1,000 true mechanics, and they shipped us to North Germany, to Bochum, which is an industrial city, and they manufactured bomb shells there.
But then you ended up being transferred back to Buchenwald, right, Dad?
Yeah.
And that's where you were liberated?
Yeah, from that camp, when the Allied forces crossed the Rhine River, they came very close to Bochum.
Bless you, Dad.
And overnight they called a roll call and they said, now we're going to ship you.
Gesundheit.
Thank you. They're going to ship us back to Buchenwald, and you're going to be a beautiful life there. They're going to give us shower and good shelter and good everything fine. But that didn't happen. When we arrived in Buchenwald, guess what? There was no soap, there was no towels. They gave us cold ice water to shower. Now this was in March. The ground had snow, and naked they forced us out to line up for a roll call. Can you imagine here in this country or any other country when there is snow, people dress up, they have shoes, they have warm clothes, but we have naked.
Gesundheit, Daddy.
Okay, honey.
Yeah, I hope you're not catching a cold,
No,
Dad.
no.
So, Dad, how much time were you in Buchenwald? Do you remember?
I was several months in Buchenwald.
And then you ended up towards the end. We're doing this kind of fast, but...
Okay, then I'm going to cut this story short because there was the Liberation Day, and what they did there, they announced on the loudspeaker to all Jewish people to step forward. And I asked again, God, what should I do? And God told me, don't step out as a Jew. And after all the thousands of Jews were taken away, they announced on the loudspeaker again for us to drop our pants, and they checked us if we are circumcised. Now many non-Jewish people are also circumcised. Again, God helped me through that. The assessment came with a stick and he checked me, and for some reason he must be blind because I am circumcised, but he bypassed me and I survived this check. However, there was still gave us some tough times.
So, Dad, you were you crawled into weren't you in a?
So actually, what happened? Now with all the rest of us, they pushed us into a big, huge building, over thousands of us, without food, without water, for days. Then finally, a Russian soldier brought in a bucket of water, and they gave us a little water, and they threw one bread, and people were grabbing, and they killed each other to have a piece of bread. However, I was very close to the front gate, and when the bucket was empty, it just so happened that in one of the camps I was with Russian soldiers, and I learned some Russian language, and I asked him, please help me, can I help you with a bucket? However, that was a dangerous thing because at the gate there was an assessment with a machine gun, and I held on to the bucket, and we came through the door, and the assessment didn't stop us. However, after walked away far away, he left me alone, and I ended up in a crawl space, and that was a French barrack. And I stayed there for over 2 weeks without any food, without any water.
And then you heard tanks or what, Dad?
Then, now remember, the German song was Deutschland über alles. Germany is Germany to rule the world. But for some reason, I hear the different type of song, and that was an American song, and I knew that there is something happening, because in the crossface I had a hole as big as my 50 cents size, and I looked at it and I saw there was tanks are different. The German tanks were brown, the German tanks were green, and this was brown. And so what happened, I took a chance and I walked outside, and it just so happened that a soldier picked me up. I weighed maybe 65 to 70 pounds, and he took me to the mess hall, and he gave me some milk, he gave me some cooked potatoes, because many people died after survival because their stomach were empty, rotten,
and they started to eat.
And they started to eat everything, and the stomach couldn't take it, and they died. But I just watched my diet, and thank God I was able to survive.
How old were you when you were liberated, Dad?
Well, I think I was about 17 and a half.
And you went back to Romania.
Well, after liberation, I stayed in the camp for a couple of months till I gained back my weight a little bit, and I started feeling better. And I thought maybe my young father or my young sister and brother survived, and I went home, and there nobody came back.
Nobody came back, so you were it. You became an orphan in Auschwitz.
I became an orphan in Auschwitz. I became an orphan when I went home.
Oh, there's your phone. I'm going to stop it for a second, Dad.